On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Gable died in November 1960 at the age of 59, just days after suffering a major heart attack. His passing was natural yet undeniably accelerated by the culture and expectations surrounding Hollywood's leading men. During the mid-20th century, Gable had built his career on a persona defined by rugged charisma and physical intensity. Even as he aged, the industry demanded that he maintain that image. During the filming of the Misfits, a production marked by rising temperatures, long shooting days, and heavy emotional strain, Gable insisted on performing his own physically demanding scenes, a decision many later believed contributed to his fatal heart attack. His death struck Hollywood with a force that reflected his stature. Known universally as the King of Hollywood, Gable had been one of the last surviving symbols of the studio-controlled golden era. The immediate consequence was an overwhelming public mourning, but also a wave of introspection across the industry. The Misfits, released shortly after his death, took on an unintended poignancy. Audiences saw it not merely as another Gable film, but as his farewell, a closing statement from a star who had shaped an entire generation of cinema. His death amplified his legend, reinforcing his image as the iconic American leading man whose life and career defined the glamour and intensity of early Hollywood. More broadly, Gable's passing marked a cultural shift. The traditional studio system, already eroding, lost one of its most visible anchors. The industry was transitioning toward new kinds of stars, less polished, more vulnerable, less bound by old Hollywood mystique. Gable's death symbolized the fading of an era built on carefully crafted personas and strict control over celebrity narratives. Reflecting on Gable's legacy reveals how deeply humans rely on storytelling to preserve memory and confront mortality. His films continue to be restored, screened, and discussed. Biographies revisit his life with renewed interpretation. Museums showcase his costumes and memorabilia. Through these forms of commemoration, Gable's presence persists not only as a performer, but as a cultural artifact representing ambition, glamour, and the complexities beneath a public image. Ultimately, the fascination surrounding Gable's death underscores a broader truth. Humanity immortalizes those who shape its stories. In preserving his work and revisiting his narrative, we keep alive both the man he was and the era he symbolizes, a reminder of how art allows memory to outlast mortality. Wedgeworth passed away in November 2017 at the age of 83 due to natural causes, specifically complications related to a long illness. Her death reflected the quieter, more private departures of many character actors whose careers spanned several decades, but who worked largely outside the spotlight of Hollywood superstardom. In an industry often dominated by youth and constant visibility, Wedgeworth's later years symbolized the challenges faced by veteran performers, the gradual retreat from public life, the changing landscape of television, and the fading of once familiar figures who had shaped earlier eras of entertainment. Her passing brought immediate tributes from colleagues and longtime viewers who remembered her versatility. Wedgeworth had carved a niche as a scene-stealing performer, most famously on Three's Company, where her portrayal of the flirtatious yet warm-hearted Lana Shields became a standout in the show's ensemble. While she left the series early, the role became an enduring part of her legacy. Her acclaimed work on stage, including a Tony Award for Chapter 2 and her later television roles, contributed to a career remembered for emotional depth and comedic precision. Her death did not shift the trajectory of Hollywood history in a dramatic way, yet it amplified appreciation for character actors whose contributions often shaped the tone and success of the productions they joined. Wedgeworth's passing also highlighted the transition from the network-dominated era of television to the streaming age. Many fans revisited her performances online, introducing her work to new audiences. In this sense, her death subtly reanimated her legacy, demonstrating how digital accessibility allows actors from past decades to remain culturally present long after their era has passed. Her story reveals much about humanity's relationship with mortality and memory. Unlike iconic megastars whose deaths become global events, Wedgeworth's departure illustrates a different kind of remembrance, one grounded in affection, nostalgia, and the quiet admiration of dedicated fans. We immortalize figures like her through reruns, restored recordings, theatrical revivals, and the personal stories shared by those who worked alongside her. Each performance preserved on screen becomes a form of artistic continuity, allowing future generations to witness her craft. Ultimately, Anne Wedgeworth's life and passing remind us that cultural impact is not always measured by fame alone. Instead, it lives in the intimate, lasting connections forged between performer and audience. Connections that allow memory to transcend mortality and keep the essence of an artist alive through the stories they helped bring to life. Edie Sedgwick died in 1971 at the age of 28 from an accidental overdose of barbiturates, a tragic ending that reflected both the turbulence of the 1960s counterculture and the dangers embedded within it. As one of Andy Warhol's most recognizable muses, a central figure of the factory scene, Sedgwick embodied the intoxicating mix of glamour, rebellion, and vulnerability that defined the era. Her death occurred shortly after she had attempted to rebuild her life, marrying Michael Post and seeking stability following years marked by addiction, mental health struggles, and intense public scrutiny. The circumstances of her passing underscored the era's broader struggle with substance abuse, as many young cultural figures, thrust suddenly into fame, grappled with pressures they were ill-equipped to manage. The immediate aftermath of Sedgwick's death cast a somber shadow over Warhol's circle. For some, she became a symbol of the darker side of the 1960s art and celebrity culture, a cautionary tale about the commodification of personality and the emotional toll of becoming an icon too quickly. Her passing did not shift the course of art history directly, but it deepened her legend, transforming her from a factory superstar into a mythic figure whose fragility seemed inseparable from her allure. In the decades that followed, Sedgwick's life and death were continually re-examined, feeding a lasting fascination with the tensions between creativity, fame, and self-destruction. Her death also opened broader cultural conversations about mental health and the cost of living as a public symbol during a time when the entertainment world offered little support. She became part of a historical pattern of young cultural figures, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, whose deaths marked the end of the idealistic 1960s and forced society to confront its contradictions. Sedgwick's enduring legacy demonstrates how mortality intertwines with memory. She is immortalized through Warhol's films, countless photographs, biographies, and artistic reinterpretations that preserve her as an emblem of beauty, chaos, and the fleeting nature of fame. Her image continues to inspire fashion, literature, and film, proving how cultural icons can transcend their brief lives through the stories and art they leave behind. Ultimately, Sedgwick's death reveals humanity's impulse to commemorate those who burn brightly yet briefly, figures whose lives remind us of the fragility of identity, the dangers of unchecked celebrity, and the lasting power of memory to transform tragedy into enduring cultural mythology. Robert Clary passed away in 2022 at the age of 96 from natural causes, closing a life marked not only by artistic accomplishment, but by extraordinary resilience. Born in Paris in 1926, Clary survived the horrors of the Holocaust, an experience that shaped him profoundly and later informed his lifelong commitment to remembrance and education. His death symbolized the gradual passing of a generation of survivors whose first-hand testimony had anchored global understanding of the atrocities of World War II. Losing figures like Clary underscores the urgency of preserving memory in an era where misinformation about history can spread rapidly. Clary's fame in the United States came primarily from his role as Corporal Louis LeBeau on the television series Hogan's Heroes, 1965 to 1971, a wartime sitcom set in a German POW camp. That he portrayed a comedic character in a setting linked to the very trauma he endured was a powerful reflection of his era's complicated relationship with representation, healing, and the boundaries of entertainment. Clary often emphasized that the show depicted prisoners of war, not concentration camp victims, and he used his platform to clarify the distinction, revealing how cultural memory can blur or distort historical reality. The immediate impact of Clary's passing was felt deeply among fans of the series, Holocaust educators, and the entertainment community. His death prompted renewed attention to the dwindling number of survivors and reinforced the importance of archival preservation, interviews, and educational outreach. Far from diminishing his legacy, his passing amplified it, reminding audiences of the rare strength required not only to survive unimaginable suffering, but to rebuild a life rooted in creativity, humor, and public engagement. Clary's memory lives on through testimonies, documentaries, and his memoir, From the Holocaust to Hogan's Heroes, which offers one of the most vivid personal accounts bridging history and popular culture. His life and death reveal humanity's enduring need to grapple with trauma through storytelling, to honor resilience, and to immortalize those who bear witness to history's darkest chapters. We commemorate figures like Clary through art, literature, education, and collective remembrance, ensuring that their voices continue to echo long after they are gone. Ibn al-Arabi, the renowned Andalusian mystic, philosopher, and poet, died in 1240 in Damascus at the age of 75. His passing was the result of natural causes, marking the end of a life defined by spiritual exploration and intellectual daring during a period when the Islamic world faced political fragmentation, cultural cross-pollination, and the rising pressures of Crusader and Mongol expansion. His death came at a time when Sufism was both flourishing and increasingly scrutinized, and his legacy, already controversial in some regions, became even more debated after he was gone. In the immediate aftermath of his death, Ibn al-Arabi's followers honored him with burial in the Salihiyah district of Damascus, where his tomb quickly became a site of pilgrimage. Yet his passing also intensified theological disputes. Supporters celebrated him as al-Sheikh al-Akbar, the greatest master, while critics questioned the bold metaphysical ideas he articulated, especially the concept of wahdat al-wujud, the unity of being. This polarization reflected the intellectual tensions of his era, when scholars sought both to preserve orthodoxy and to engage with expansive philosophical thought inherited from earlier Islamic and Hellenistic traditions. Rather than diminishing his influence, Ibn al-Arabi's death amplified it. Freed from the constraints of his own lifetime, his works, most notably Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyah and Fusus al-Hikam, circulated widely across the Islamic world, shaping Sufi metaphysics from Anatolia to India. His writings inspired generations of poets, theologians, and spiritual seekers, while also prompting centuries of commentary, defense, and critique. The endurance of his intellectual footprint demonstrates how some figures become more formidable after death. their ideas untethered from personal controversy and allowed to travel freely through shifting cultural landscapes. The way Ibn al-Arabi is remembered reveals humanity's enduring need to make sense of the mysteries of existence. Through poetry, philosophy, and layered allegory, he offered vocabularies for understanding the self, the divine, and the cosmos, questions that remain universal. Today, his legacy is immortalized in literature, in the continued study of Sufi metaphysics, and in the reverence shown at his restored tomb. His death and the rich afterlife of his ideas underscore how memory allows human beings not merely to preserve the past, but to engage in an ongoing dialogue with it, transforming mortality into a bridge between eras, cultures, and realms of understanding. Imogen Hassall, often remembered as the Countess of Cleavage by the British tabloids, died in 1980 at just 38 years old. Her death was ruled a suicide, a tragic end shaped by the intense pressures of fame, body commodification, and the unforgiving nature of the entertainment industry in the 1970s. Hassall had struggled with depression, professional disappointments, and the unrelenting scrutiny that came with her image as a sex symbol, an identity largely constructed by studios and press rather than by her own artistic aspirations. In an era that prized glamour while offering little emotional support to young actresses, her death became a stark symbol of the era's darker undercurrents. The immediate aftermath of her passing prompted a wave of public sympathy, especially as details emerged about the loneliness and mental strain she had endured. While her career had waned, her death caused many to reflect on the cost of celebrity culture and the narrow roles available to women in film during the period the British media, which had once sensationalized her appearance, shifted to a more somber tone, framing her story as a cautionary tale of how quickly public adoration can transform into indifference. Though her death did not alter the course of film history, it intensified conversations around mental health and the pressures placed on actresses typecast by the industry. In the years after, Hassall's legacy grew into something more complex than the glamorized image she was known for. She became emblematic of a generation of performers caught between personal ambition and a system that valued them more for marketable allure than for talent. Filmmakers, writers, and cultural historians have since revisited her life with a more empathetic lens, situating her within broader discussions about fame's psychological toll and the vulnerability of public figures who lack strong support systems. Her story highlights humanity's ongoing struggle to reconcile public image with private pain. Through biography, film retrospectives, and modern feminist analysis, Hassall is remembered not merely as a symbol, but as a person shaped and ultimately crushed by her era's values. In commemorating her, we participate in a broader effort to honor those whose lives reveal the fragile intersection between recognition, expectation, and emotional suffering, reminding us that memory is often the most human form of justice. David Canary passed away in 2015 at the age of 77 from natural causes related to Alzheimer's disease, a condition that quietly erases memory even as the world continues to remember the individual. His death reflected a broader challenge of his era: the growing visibility of neurodegenerative illnesses and the emotional weight they place on families and public figures alike. For an actor celebrated for his clarity, strength, and precision, especially in his dual roles as Adam and Stuart Chandler on All My Children, the gradual fading of memory carried a poignant symbolism. It mirrored a society grappling with aging populations and the fragility of identity. The immediate consequences of his passing were heartfelt tributes from colleagues and fans who had grown up watching his performances. Within the soap opera community, his death left a noticeable void. He was widely regarded as one of daytime television's finest performers. Although his passing did not shift the course of history in a global sense, it did reinforce his legacy as an actor whose talent helped elevate an entire genre. For many viewers, his death prompted reflection on the golden age of American soap operas, a period when serialized storytelling shaped daily routines and cultural conversations. His legend was indeed amplified, not through sudden tragedy, but through warm remembrance. The industry celebrated his professionalism, humility, and remarkable ability to embody contrasting characters with equal intensity through reruns, archival footage, and fan retrospectives. His contributions continue to be rediscovered by new generations. In a broader sense, Canary's death highlights humanity's complex relationship with memory and mortality. We fear forgetting and being forgotten, yet we counter that fear through storytelling, performance, and collective remembrance. Figures like Canary are immortalized not through monuments, but through the roles they leave behind, roles that continue to speak long after the actor is gone. Through television archives, interviews, and fan communities, his work persists as a reminder that art can outlast even the sharpest decline of the human mind. His life and passing illustrate how we honor those who shaped our cultural landscape by watching, remembering, and sharing the stories they helped bring into the world. Greta Kausland passed away in 2007 at the age of 60 after a long battle with lung cancer, a natural yet devastating end that reflected broader public health concerns of her era. As smoking rates and related illnesses came under increasing scrutiny in Norway and across Europe, her death quietly echoed a generational struggle with habits once normalized but later understood as dangerous. Yet her passing also underscored another truth of the time: how deeply audiences connect with entertainers who accompany them across decades of cultural change. Kausland's death brought immediate waves of mourning in Norway, where she had grown from a beloved child star, nicknamed Lille Greta, into a versatile performer known for her powerful voice, comedic range, and iconic roles with the Dizzy Tunes Ensemble. Her absence was felt not just in the entertainment industry, but also among ordinary Norwegians who had watched her evolve alongside their own lives. While her death did not alter political or historical trajectories, it did amplify her cultural legend. Tributes highlighted her rare longevity in show business, her ability to reinvent herself, and her role in shaping the nation's entertainment identity. During the post-war decades, her passing became an opportunity for reflection on Norway's rapidly shifting cultural memory. As television archives resurfaced performances from her youth through her mature years, audiences were reminded of a shared national heritage built through humor, music, and televised variety. A form of entertainment that had once united families before the digital age fractured viewing habits. Kausland's death, therefore, strengthened her place in the country's collective memory, illuminating how artists become markers of time. More broadly, her departure illustrates humanity's enduring struggle with mortality and remembrance. We cling to performers like Kausland because they embody the emotional soundtrack of particular eras, helping us situate our personal histories within the larger cultural story. Through archived broadcasts, recordings, and televised tributes, she lives on, not as a distant historical figure, but as a familiar presence preserved through art. Her legacy demonstrates how we immortalize figures who shaped our cultural landscape by returning to their performances, sharing their stories, and allowing their work to bridge generations long after their final curtain.